Richician!
Hello and welcome to part 2 of the list of my top 60 favourite decks of all time. In this part I'm going to be counting down numbers 50 to 41, so let's kick this off. So in at number 50 is BES, a series of monsters that can't be destroyed by battle and have counters which then get removed if they battle, but gain some other effects as well. I really like these. Oh yeah, and it's cool that they're based off those bosses in the Konami arcade games, which you have to fight with a small spaceship. Yeah, it's a cool concept. The problem was it was difficult to play at first, because you needed to tribute summon them, then wait a turn to activate Boss Rush, which cuts you off from normal summoning. Yeah, it was just so hard to play them, and kind of bricky, but still fun. Then came along BEF Zelos, their field spell, which makes the deck so much more playable. Really gave them a massive boost. Now they just come out onto the field really easily and just overwhelm the opponent. It's the kind of deck I always like, just summoning a bunch of beat sticks, whether they're cool classic boss monsters or just beat sticks in general, and just beat the opponent down with them. And that's what this is. It's a unique beatdown deck. Oh yeah, and the field spell just makes them a bit difficult to get rid of, just giving them targeting and destruction immunity. Well, effect destruction immunity, I should say. And then you're left with the only ways to get rid of them being Storming Mirror Force, Drowning Mirror Force, Quaking Mirror Force, Brass Sphere Mode, Kaijus, and even Rainbow Neos. Yeah, they're just so cool. I like the concept behind them, and just like how they're very playable now. Sorry, there's crap in this sleeve. Ooh, hope I didn't damage it. Number 49 is Yugi Ritual Turbo. This was a cool, fun idea for a ritual deck that I came up with in 2010. Basically, because these are two ritual monsters that I've always really liked and are Yugi's monsters, I kind of wanted an excuse to play them in a deck, so I came up with Yugi Ritual Turbo, something to try and get these guys out as quickly as possible and just overwhelm the opponent with them. I mean, that was the general idea, and yeah, I did tech in a copy or two of Demise, King of Armageddon, but I didn't want to turn it into Demise OTK. Demise was literally just there as an extra option in case I get a bit overwhelmed. But still, the idea was to simply bring these guys out and just beat the opponent down. Problem was, it was a bit slow and inconsistent and could brick, despite the fact that I was playing 3 copies of Manju and a few copies of Senju and Sonic Bird. But other than that, it was a ton of fun, just being able to play these cards in a deck. And yeah, just so much fun. Number 48 is Hands of Danger. Now, to be fair, I liked the hand monsters. I do like the danger monsters as well. I like what dangers are based on. And for a while, I did want to play them in a deck, but I just couldn't think of anything. And then at some point last year I thought, wait, why not combine the two decks and see if that works? And it actually does. It works absolute wonders. Yeah, they were just a lot of fun to play. Like the hands, again, provided defense and offense, whereas the dangers provided just offense, and I really liked that. And just being able to get out Bigfoot and Thunderbird, beat down the opponent with them, as well as use a generic rank 4 engine thanks to the hands. And I even played Giant Red Hand, because why not? I even ran Rank Up Magic the 7th one, which I thought would be a cool additional card to have. The only issue with running that, of course, is it's not great if I draw it in my opening hand. Then it's just a dead card and I can't get out Giant Red Hand, or on a Dark, which I played in there as well, because I also ran on an Arc, along with the fact that if I draw it off one of the dangers, I can't use the effect of it, which is, I guess, is why Brian dropped it when I sold the deck to him, and he played a different rank up spell, or just didn't play those number Cs at all. Now I did think about playing Barion's Force, Numeron Force, or Limited Barion's Force, but I was just worried that they'd be dead cards in my hand, and that I wouldn't always be able to get out of rank 4 and rank them up. So, like, the 7th one was just more preferable despite its drawbacks, but even if I don't get to use it, I can still play the deck the way it's supposed to be played. And it's just such a cool deck, and it even became one of my very best decks that I played. It's just cool and underrated. Probably would have played it in a tournament if I still played in tournaments and still had the deck, but I guess we'll never know unless I change my mind. Number 47, Majestic Star Dragon, one of my favourite dragons and favourite synchros. A Stardust upgrade that I like a lot. Even if it stays on the field on just one turn, it does have a negation effect, but here's the thing, like, I normally don't like monsters that negate everything, but to be fair, like, it has a fairer cost to be able to do it, just, and a steeper one, where it has to tribute itself in order to do it, which I think is fine, and it has the added bonus of nuking the opponent's field as well. But I just like bringing it out, copying effects, and again just beating down opponent's monsters with it, or just hitting directly for 3/8. And I liked it so much that I did build a deck based around it, which was just so much fun. There were many ways to bring it out. I even played Future Fusion, like back when it still had its original text and could be played, revealed 5-headed dragon and sent either 3 copies of Majestic Dragon and 2 copies of Stardust Shaolong, or vice versa, just to set up. Then special summon at level 5, like Cyber Dragon or the Tricky, normal summon Junk Synchron, revive the Majestic Dragon, sync for Stardust, and use Shaolong's effects to bring itself back, then sync for Majestic Star Dragon. So it was possible to bring this card out turn 1, which I've done a few times now. There was even one duel I had where I summoned it 4 times in a row, like on, you know, 4 turns in a row, and it was just nuts. I loved doing that. Sure, it's not the best form of Stardust deck, but it's still a ton of fun, and I just love being able to do that. Number 46, Elemental Hero Mariner. I was obviously a big Elemental Hero fan, and back in 2007 I came up with an idea for a deck solely based on this card, and also run Messenger of Peace to stop opponents attacking overhead. So if you don't know what the effect of Mariner is, it's if I have a face down card in the back row, it can attack directly. So the idea was to bring this card out, have a face down card and keep hitting the opponent for 14, and using Messenger to basically, well, like I said, to stall out the opponent and stop them from being able to attack Mariner. Of course, it's not a great strategy nowadays because there's just more back row removal in the game and better hero decks to play, but I loved being able to play a deck based on Mariner and just keep hitting the opponent for lots of damage. Yeah, it was just great. It's kind of a cool concept actually, playing an Elemental Hero base deck based on one fusion monster. And yeah, that's really all there is to say about it. Number 45, Legendary Knights. Yeah, obviously not one of the best decks around, but there's still a lot of fun, and I kind of got inspired last year to make them because I was watching Xylophony's Knight tournament on YouTube, and this was one of the decks that got played, and I didn't even think it could be played so easily. I mean, it can't, but it's possible, so I decided to have a go at making the deck myself. Unfortunately, it is bricky and inconsistent, but provided it doesn't brick, it can do some really, really cool plays. Just getting them out and just swarming the opponent with a bunch of 2800 attack monsters, and even causing some problems with their contact fusion. Timaeus, the Knight of Destiny, just being unaffected by anything. And even clashing with the strongest monster on the field and just floating for the Legendary Knights if it bites the dust. And then of course I can just make another Knight of Destiny in main too. So yeah, provided it goes off, it can do some great things, and even Timaeus, the Knight of Destiny, becomes a problematic card to deal with, because like I said, it's just unaffected by anything, and can't attack over it. I mean, at best you can just crash into it, but even if you do, then the 3 Legendary Knights come out, so again, the only way to get rid of it is by Gaijuing it. But despite this, it's just hard to play, and rather annoyingly, I have to play the Light Swarm monsters just to be able to make it work, otherwise it just doesn't. It's the best consistent way I can think of to get the Legendary Dragon cards in the graveyard, so I can use Legend of Heart. And even then, I need to have a warrior on the field, and I have to pay 2,000 life points as well to do it. And the other problem is I need to keep my life points high. The other issue, of course, is if my life points drop to 2,000 or less, then it becomes a dead card and the whole strategy just falls apart, and I have to rely on generic Light Swarm and rank 4 plays. But still a fun deck to play, and does, like I said, it does great things when it does go off. And sticking to the theme of knights, in at number 44 is Gaia Knight, another Yugi archetype that gets played. I love that we've got an archetype based on Gaia the Fierce Knight and Curse of Dragon. Again, it's a really fun deck to play, and actually very underrated and better than I thought it was. Just being able to bring out this card, Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons, easily, gaining lots of power, provided you used Spiral Fusion, negating face-up monsters if I used Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, and just being really overwhelming, and just being able to pop a card at any time. But it is a steep cost though, just having to lose 2600 attack. Mind you, there are ways to compensate for that, like with Gaia the Fierce Knight Origin as well, restoring its points from 0 to 2/6. And there's the option of Envoy of Chaos. I can't actually remember if I play Envoy in my Gaia Knight deck. I don't think I do, but it is an option. Actually, can it boost Gaia? I'm not sure. I'm actually going to check really quick. It's been a while, a little while now since I've touched the deck. Oh no, I don't play Envoy. I've got it in my Blackluster Soldier deck though. Should have organised this beforehand. Oh no, it boosts Gaia the Fierce Knight monsters as well as Blackluster Soldier monsters, so no, I can't use Envoy to boost this card. Oh, it doesn't matter, it's still a formidable force to be reckoned with. I just wonder how I would have done with it in a tournament. But I guess we'll never know since I don't play in them anymore. And I do mean local tournaments, of course. Cool. Archetype is cool. Number 43, Aliens. Another really fun archetype. I've always liked them, even like back in the day when they first came out. It wasn't a very strong deck back then, but the support from Crimson Crisis really helped it out a lot, including Overlord, Ammonite and Cosmic Fortress Golgar. It really gave them a boost, I think, and Golgar is just a formidable synchro. Bouncing cards and popping cards, and it's very easy to bring out and set up for. They're just so much fun. I love the concept of an archetype based on extraterrestrials. And they've got a few other support cards over the years as well. Like it got their search card in Invasion Vengeance, and it got a couple of Link monsters, like the Link 2 in Dual Overload and the Link 3 in Dawn of Majesty, I think. They're just a lot of fun, and they can make some cool, surprisingly good plays. The 8 counters help a lot to just get over a few monsters. It's just really cool, casual, fun to play. Number 42, Arcanites of Endermia. Well, before the Pendulum monsters came along, Endymion was really cool and a lot of fun, like their original boss monster right here, and the Field Spell and Spell Power Grasp. I did try and combine it with Dark Magician cards, and it worked somewhat well, but pure Dark Magician seems to work better, and I like the Arcanite monsters as well. Arcanite Richician has always been a great level 7 synchro. And Arcanite Magician Assault mode was a ton of fun as well, and I wanted to combine them both, and they work so well together, and it's just such a fun spellcaster deck to play. There's doing various things with spell counters. Just a pretty fun, relaxed deck to play, and it's just nice. It can make a nice change from playing a spellcaster deck that's not Dark Magician, although Dark Magician will always be #1 in my book. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. Sometimes it makes appearances at my Edo Pro duels. Don't know if I'll ever rebuild it in real life though. It's not likely, but I still have what's left of the core. And at number 41, Small Spaceships. Quite funny actually. The Konami arcade games machines being on the same section of the list, BDS at 50, this card being 41. I thought these guys were cool and a lot of fun to play. Wasn't sure how easy they'd be, but I decided to just give them a go, and just play the deck based on the Konami arcade games. It took a little while to figure out how to make them playable and to be able to attack over monsters, but I figured out a way. It's still not easy to play, but it's still a lot of fun once they get going. I mean, Honest definitely helps out this deck big time, and so does this card, Vic Viper T3 301. And I mean, that's really all there is to it. And I even played Gradius, because why not? Even though it doesn't have an effect. Yeah, this card does help them out quite a bit, and I do have the option of making rank 4 plays, just so this card doesn't get banished when it leaves the field after being summoned through its own effect. Like, I have rank 4s to work with, but I don't want to really rely on them. But sometimes I have to, because obviously these guys aren't very strong by themselves. But again, once they get going, they can do cool things and come out on top. I'm actually surprised that they put up a good fight against Cosmo once upon a time and won a duel with them. Like, in that match I had with Express Gaming, where I took this Galaxy Photon and Neo Spaceships against them, because we wanted to have a space-themed matchup. It's just amazing that I was able to win against it with Small Spaceships and Neo Spaceships, but couldn't beat it with Galaxy Photons, which is supposed to be the better deck of the 3 decks that I took against Cosmo. Maybe I bricked, I don't know. Again, it was just surprising that Galaxy struggled so much. Although, to be fair, it's Cosmo. It's an annoyingly difficult deck to beat. I guess a lot of luck was involved, really. I'm quite proud of myself, and it was a fond memory. And that is it for this section. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for part 3. Catch you guys shortly. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Richician YouTube channel.